ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Check this out, we got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week. Good friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew McInnis. Go follow him at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk, his usual Tuesday morning spot, and then Friday I'll reciprocate on his channel, usually around 10:15, 10:30 as well. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, myself, Amber Hawley, Carol Bucks, Matthew Ali. The list is endless. Alan, of course. Just come download the app and let's have some fun the rest of 2025. AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. You know the drill by now. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith. And then come on back to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, wines, appetizer. Terry has it all. 4 subscription plans. Also, just set it and forget it. Every 30 days, have a box of protein sent right to your front door like I do. The only thing you'll need is a spare propane tank. Without further ado, the first place Toronto Blue Jays, Andrew McInnis.
Gotta love it. How are you?
We've been doing shows, I think, for 5 years now, and I've been on Sports Grid a couple times. I talked to Joe Madden. You and I do shows. The headline today: are we buying Toronto Blue Jays plus 135 to win the AL East? That was on DraftKings, and the Yankees are the favorite at plus 110. The Rays are plus 500. Are you buying?
Jeff, I mean, all the quotes I'm seeing from the players right now in the clubhouse, it's almost like more about the vibes than it is about the results. I mean, these guys, it seems like when you play baseball and you're traveling together, you're seeing these guys more than your own family members. It's got to be about team chemistry. It's got to be about how you feel about coming into the clubhouse every day. There was a quote I read this morning in an article. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. said, "I wake up every morning and I just can't wait to go to the park. I can't wait to see those guys." And that's just not even to do with baseball itself. I mean, these guys are having fun out there. They're giving me flashbacks to years ago with that great run with Donaldson and Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion. I mean, this is the flashback I'm getting right now. They've had some good years since then, but this team just feels a little bit different. So, the question is, are we getting in at the worst possible price or the worst time? Well, maybe we're missing a good number, but they also weren't playing like they are right now about a month ago, 2 months ago. This is a different team. And Jeff, the funny thing is I keep waiting for them to have to win a 3-1 baseball game, but I know you're a big team totals guy. If you're betting on this Jays team, just take that team total. They're winning and they're scoring 4 or 5 at least.
And then you talked about that era. I'll go back even further. Dave Steve, Joe Carter had those runs back there as well. And it was fun. It really was. Dave Stewart, another Roger Clemens nemesis there. But, I talked about this team to anyone that wanted to listen, and I'm like seeing these guys in the rearview mirror, and then they keep coming, they keep coming, they keep coming, and I'm like, holy tamales! Next thing you know, 3-game lead on the Yankees and Rays. We don't usually start off with Toronto Blue Jay talk with you, but I thought it was a good, topic to start with because again, we're the dog days of summer. So a week from today is the All-Star game. Then you'll have Wednesday off. Then you'll have Thursday off. And then they resume on Friday. I think it will be like the 18th or something. Let me see. 15th, 16th, 18th or 19th. My point is you got 10 days, 11 days, and then the trade deadline. And that's it. Then it's August and September sprint, 60 days to see who's playing in October.
Well, this happens in a lot of sports, Jeff. I know in baseball, it works out to be bettering the roster. I as much as I was just talking about clubhouse chemistry, obviously baseball is a pitcher versus batter type sport. Sometimes do you think though it can mess up a roster if you do too much at the deadline? I know that they might be a little aggressive with some pitching a little bit just because this could be the opportunity where people actually want to come to Toronto. I mean, you hate to say it, but it's the same thing as the Raptors, right? A lot of American players or other players might not want to come to Canada, but the trade-off you get is that you have a whole country behind you besides maybe the Western parts that cheer for the Mariners for some reason. But other than that, I think that you get a whole country around you. So I'm curious what you think, Jeff, because that's all I see right now in the Canadian media is they're already talking about the deadline, as you brought up. How aggressive should they be? You're the baseball guy. What do you think?
Well, you nailed it in the intro. Baseball's about chemistry, and you can go back decades and decades. The best team doesn't always win the World Series. It's a team that gets hot. It's a team that enjoys each other's companionship. 24 men in a dugout, 162 game marathon approach. That's why the culture, what was going on in Boston, Devers had to go. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I was the GM, which they should have me as the GM, but in January or February, I would have traded Devers already to Toronto. I would have taken a shot for Vlad even before the extension. I'd say, hey, come over here, take a look at that green monster. Let me take you down to the north end. Let's have a nice dinner. Then we'll go get a cannoli at Mike's Pastry and watch the fan base love you. Oh, about that extension. Yeah, let's get that done. But we don't have that culture. We're starting to play better. We're scoring runs like you guys. We're still a handful behind. DraftKings has them plus 1,600 to win the East. They're not going to win the division. They could make the playoffs. The East, the American League East, could have 3 teams that make the playoffs, Andrew.
And that it reminds me of the Atlantic Division in hockey. I mean, it's the Jays division. I mean, the Leafs and the Jays, they can't catch a break with how competitive the divisions that they play in. But it is. I mean, the funny thing is when the Jays swept the Yankees, it was such a big deal, right? It was a huge deal. But when they swept them, I think, what was it, July 1st, or was it even July yet? I think it might have been early July, right? July 2nd, maybe something like that. So it's still so early because I always think back to the Jays and even the past few years. When I think about the Jays, I think about September baseball and even like late August. That's what decides their fate. I mean, I saw a graphic where the record that they had a few weeks back, Jeff, somehow, some way, they've had the exact same record through X amount of games into the season, like 3 of the last 5 years. So that's the crazy thing about baseball, though, is that I like that Vlad quote that I mentioned to you because it means that they're going to keep going. It's not like they're satisfied. They're going to take these wins and, go into a rut. But it's funny because the Blue Jays are the only Toronto-based team I cheer for. But as you know about these Toronto teams, it doesn't really matter until you get close to crunch time, right? So that'll be interesting to follow. But the deadline is going to be interesting to see what they do if they pick up some pitchers, if they pick up some relief guys, if they pick up, a couple of guys that can bat. I'm not sure what they'll do. But with the attention being on this team, I'll tell you, this management staff has definitely gotten a little bit of pressure off them with what this team's been able to do because people were coming for their heads. I mean, everybody thought that these guys, they just didn't have it in them to make the right changes and to kind of go out there. But one thing I like about this lineup, Jeff, I know we got to get going, but I like that anybody can make a play, really. Anybody can go at bat, and I can trust them. A lot of teams are like, they're waiting for the top of the order again. I feel like with this Blue Jays team right now, you don't have to wait as much for the top of the order to make something happen. We'll see. But again, it's all about September baseball. I mean, that sweep is great against the Yankees. Now you got lucky to get a series against the White Sox, but it's all about August and September. Keep it going through July and then see what happens in August and September.
And to fully answer your question, sometimes it's the deals at the deadline that you don't make that actually propel you. You have a great chemistry going. You have a clubhouse that enjoys each other. You don't need to bring an eye guy in there that tries to take over the clubhouse. And it's an arms race. That's what it comes down to. So any arm or arms that you can add is a blessing. So CFL, we had a rough weekend ourselves. I when I start to look at what we did over the weekend, I kind of got away from the playbook. I got away from who's going to win the game, and the team totals have been coming in. I didn't go to the window with conviction like we have been, and I'm calling ourselves out on that. Perfect example was on the Red Blacks. They got their team total. We gave it out as a pizza and beer side, but we gave out the -118 on the money line. Couple bad reads we had on a couple other games, especially, but was still a couple games over 500. But yourself, you had a great weekend in Canadian football.
It was much needed, Jeff. It was much needed for me after 2 shaky type weeks. If there's only one regret I'm going to make, it was the double dip. It was the double dip in the Toronto Argonauts game, and that was a mistake, but it's okay. We did double dip in the Calgary game and had success with that one, taking them plus the 5. Could have gave the 5.5, but 5 was consensus, and then taking the team total as well. But yeah, the Argonauts, it's funny when you see a team fly over their team total for you. Not too much of a worry about that one, but then they don't even come close to getting the cover. So that was kind of a nice, at least, to get that sweat. And the funny thing is I had a higher percent on the team total than I did on the spread. So that was kind of nice to work out. Couple fortunate things happened to me this weekend, but we like to call it skill when they happen. Montreal first half, big play. They lose the full game. Sometimes those feel kind of cool just because you're like, hey, well, at least I picked the first half. It could have been a hell of a lot worse. And those are the type of punts, because I know, Jeff, during the NHL regular season, you'll bet those first period -0.5, plus money or -110 or whatever. And, when the game gets sweaty in the third period, it just feels good. You're like, oh, well, I already won. I'm good. And that's kind of how I felt with that Montreal one. It came down to the last drive, but when I saw BC score with 2 minutes to go in the game, the first half, excuse me. The funny thing is I don't have a lot of lucky things that can happen. I don't think that was luck because they only needed a field goal and they ended up scoring a touchdown. But I was like, okay, you're going to give me about 2 minutes to let them march the field and at least get a field goal for me to win this first half. I'd like, better off having that situation be with Montreal than Montreal scoring with 2 minutes than the other team getting the ball. So that worked out. And then how about those Elks? I mean, if there's ever a time for you to talk up the Elks, Jeff, we were wondering if there was going to be a game where their offense would do enough that it would kind of make up for the lack of defense. And we finally saw that. So it was a graded 5-1 weekend for me. 4 games, 5-1 weekend. So we're treading above water since the preseason, relatively about flat, I'd say, or a little bit down still regular season, but nice to have a huge week. Felt like we had some great reads, and even the one loss we had was kind of a double dip game with that Argonauts game. So very weird, though. 3 games this weekend. They decided to give a few teams some bye weeks. They're going to come back heavy the next few weeks.
Yeah, and I watched the first half of the Toronto Edmonton game, and it was comical because shame on the Ottawa defense, because Edmonton saw that they were going to try to put pressure on the quarterback, and they're just letting them blitz, and they're just dinking and dunking and little screen passes that you and I could have ran for 20 and 30 yards. And I was just like, they made a game of it. Again, they did get their team total late. They had they weren't going to win the game. They had opportunities, but it is what it is. We'll turn the page. As you said, 3 games. I'm on FanDuel right now. Here Friday night, 9 p.m. Calgary travels to Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan coming off a bye. Saskatchewan minus 4.5 with a 51.5. Saturday, those Ottawa Red Blacks travel to the Ticats, Hamilton. The offense is cooking with Crisco. In what world did you ever think Hamilton minus 4.5 with a 53 and a hook there? And then the Sunday night special, they're coming back to Edmonton. BC travels to Edmonton. BC minus 3 and a hook with a 50 and a hook. What grabs your attention?
Immediately, Ottawa grabs my attention a little bit here. I mean, I like Hamilton as a home team, but I like them at pick'em or as an underdog. I don't really like them laying more than 3 in the hook as of where it stands right now. I don't like them laying points. I know Ottawa played Edmonton last week, and I know they lost to Edmonton and gave up a ton of points to Edmonton. But we can't just grade them all of a sudden the worst team in the league. We still know it's Edmonton, and we still know that Ottawa has some talent. That was the first week back for Drew Brown. I'm not one for criticizing football coaches as much as hockey coaches, just because I know the game of hockey a lot better, Jeff, and I won't hide that. But the OC for Ottawa and their head coach, Bob Dice, they just make some questionable decisions, though. Like, I watched the post-game press conference in that game, and they asked him, hey, you had in the CFL, they have 3-minute warning, right? Not 2-minute warning. And you had 2 timeouts going into the 3-minute warning. Did you ever think to use one of those? And he just didn't really give a good answer. And they're like, Jeff, he ended up like having a timeout left going into half. So he just decided not to use it going into halftime. Like, as a coach, you're getting paid to coach a professional team. You can't make those mistakes. And you talk about the pressure, like the Elks were pressuring Drew Brown quite a bit. I guess they probably knew that his thing was the long balls. Like, he can throw the ball, but it's shocking that they didn't really catch on to that. Ottawa should have just had a running back hanging back for the quick check down. They could have won the game by just doing that. But the Edmonton pressure, they just kept on bringing it. But here's the deal here. I'm going to throw it back to you. I'm curious what you think, because sometimes in the CFL this year, it's been, hey, trust the eye test, bet on the good teams, fade the bad, so on and so forth. But Hamilton put up a 50 burger. They put up a 50 spot. And Ottawa just lost to the worst team in the league. Is this the overreaction game of the week?
Well, I say this every time, but we've been doing shows 3-4 years at least in the CFL. This Hamilton Ticat team, we've been waiting for this. Are we not giving them enough respect? This is the team finally that is the team. I mean, like you said, a 50 burger, and now 4.5 against Ottawa. Let's be honest here. Ottawa didn't show me much. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. Offensively, I wasn't impressed. Maybe the second game back for the quarterback. I don't know, but I think it's a respect number, minus 4.5. It's not 3, 2.5. It's 4.5.
Yep, and they are back at home. And you know what? They did make Toronto's defense look foolish. That's for sure. I mean, Toronto couldn't get a stop to save their life. I mean, anytime and there was an interception, they got the interception. The first play after the interception, Bo Levi goes deep. And one thing as well, Kenny Lawler finally had his breakout game for the Ticats. I think it was 3 touchdowns, Jeff. I think it was 3 touchdowns. Either it was 2 and a huge game. But, he played super well. Highest total on the board. I believe highest total of the season so far at start at so far at 53.5. The other ones are 51.5 and 50. That one. So Jeff, last week, what I decided to do, and I got to give you credit, I took a page out of your book there. I waited till game day to make a lot of my bets, and it's not like I wasn't, like I was venting to you last week, of course, because I had a bad week before, but I was talking about the CLV. And it's not like I was getting to the weekend with bad numbers. And that was kind of the frustrating thing. I was getting there with great numbers in hand, but I wasn't even planning on necessarily being on some of these teams throughout the week. Like Calgary, I leaned towards. I believe last Tuesday on your channel, I said I leaned towards them at +3.5. Maybe I'll be on the team total, I think is what I said. And then on game day, it gets to 5.5. And that was like, okay, this is too much. So this might be interesting. We got a 4.5, a 4.5, and a 3.5 this week. And one thing we've learned in the CFL this season is about the night before and morning of these games is when we're starting to see the movement. So we'll see, because we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday games this week. Curious to see where some of the movement goes as far as that's concerned. You know, people talk about lowest total going under in the NFL and then highest totals high for a reason. Like, who's to say this Hamilton-Ottawa game isn't going to be an absolute shootout? Like, if you watch that Edmonton and Ottawa game last week, and I know I got lucky on the Ottawa team total, the final drive, that was nice to watch. But we talk about team totals a lot, Jeff, but realistically, if you're watching this Red Blacks and Ticats game, it's going to be shocking if we see like a 44 point game or 48 point game even. It'll be hard not to see this one getting pushed over unless we just see a huge emphasis from Ottawa with the run game. But I also don't think Toronto tested. I don't think Toronto tested Hamilton's defense nearly as much as they should have. And that was probably a factor. I want to say, you keep on talking about the team winning it, covering their team total. We're now going into week 6, Jeff. Week 6. Every single team that has won a game has covered the game. Montreal 3-2 record, 3-2 ATS. Hamilton 2-2 record, 2-2 ATS. Ottawa 1-4 record, 1-4 ATS. So that is interesting. But the question is, when do we start being contrarians here? Saskatchewan's back from their bye week. 4-0 record, 4-0 ATS, 3-1 over under, 2-0 ATS at home. Sometimes people say when a team goes into a bye and they're playing well, it can disrupt momentum. When they're playing poorly, it can be a well-timed bye week. What do you think about the Riders this week?
Well, again, Calgary's that team that initially we talked preseason and stuff we were down on. Well, currently wrong. Calgary's playing some pretty good football. 4.5. Now, is that Saskatchewan coming off the bye 4.5? Is this Saskatchewan undefeated? Or is this Calgary's due to lay an egg and be who we thought they were? There's a lot of question marks in that game.
I'm worried to play it just because I haven't made any decisions on this one yet, just because of I got to say, I'm worried about the fact that they're undefeated coming off the bye week. But at the end of the day, why can't this team be great? Why can't they go 5-0 to start the season off? I mean, they got the job done so far this season. They go into a bye week, and the one thing about this team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they have a lot of like older players. The bye week won't hurt them; it'll benefit them with their rest. But, and I'll bring it up again, the ATS standings here. Calgary Stampeders as an underdog, 3-0 this season, and 1-0 ATS on the highway this season as well. So something's going to give. One team is going to break their streak.
I tell you what, before last week, I was like, Winnipeg looks like Winnipeg. Yeah, sure, okay. But I'll ask you. I'll throw it back at you. Most impressive team from day one to right now, isn't it Saskatchewan?
It's got to be. It's got to be. I hope people listened. 7-1 start of the season. I was wrong about Calgary, but 7-1 on the Riders is a pretty good price right now. And you look at the CFL futures board, they're plus 320 on FanDuel Canada. So huge change there with that one. I'd say the value right now, we say it every year, but the value in the West is 10-1 on BC. It has to be, Jeff. It has to be. With Rourke being back. I mean, they didn't look good with Masoli.
No.
Let's be real here. Rourke led the comeback against one of the league's best teams last week against Montreal. You're getting 10-1. I might add that to the portfolio. And all of a sudden, I've got a 10-1 and a 7-1 on two great teams in the West. At that point, I'm just cheering against Winnipeg.
Got a couple minutes before we head off into my next and your next shows or whatever we have for the afternoon. Big slate today. Any thoughts in the MLB team totals, props, anything catch your eye today?
Well, I was doing the Jeff Dawson scan the board here, and there's just one team that I want to continue to fade, and I think you might know what team that is. And I'll, for the record, the funny thing is, guys, anybody following Jeff, you get plays from me in baseball like once every half moon here, like 5 or 6 days. We're on a little bit of a run here. We hit a couple in a row. I want to fade the Nationals here today, Jeff. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a peek at the Cardinals. Not sure we can have the success that we had with the Cubbies a couple days ago when they put up an 11 spot for us. But we're going to go first 5 innings. We're going to take the Cardinals first 5 innings minus the half run. Not worry about the full game. Not worry about the bullpens. And get a pretty good number on that. So that's the one here. We got Gray versus Irvin. I was kind of looking at Cincy and Miami as well. I kind of wanted to take the under in that game, Perez and Martinez, but I think I'm going to stick with just one game here. St. Louis, first 5 innings. I've learned this from you. I know we all should know this by now, but I've been burnt too many times. I don't like playing a lot of home team totals. So just looking at this one here with the St. Louis Cardinals, the fact that they're at home, I don't want to play that team total. I would rather just stick with the first half run line.
Well, karmically, last night, ECSI VIPs 2-0. Red Sox team total over 3.5, first 5. They were 5.5 full game against the Rockies. Didn't think that they'd get to the 9th inning. So, you got that 8 guaranteed 24 outs and 5.5, or I get my guaranteed 15 outs and over 3.5. And Roman Anthony, thank you very much, 2-run bomb to get me there. They were on 3, and here's the funny: I had over 5.5 first 5 on the desk, so he would have got the over with that swing. And so, but we get that, and then we come back with the Marlins team total over 4.5. We won 2.25 units, so a great way to start the week there. Scroller's been going the whole time, Andrew, at McInnis Picks, at Wager Talk, WT.buzz/AM. What do you have for the public today?
You know what, Jeff? I'm going to mention that, it's $5 Tuesday as always. $5 for my favorite play of the week, of the day. This one's going to be a baseball play. Three games in the CFL this week. We're off a 5-1 week. Pretty sure I tweeted out most of the plays besides the 5% play. So you guys got to, jump in if you want those CFL plays for this weekend. But a great deal right now, 3-day flex pass for $49. You're going to save $20. There's no promo code needed. You go to my page, you hop in, $49, 3 days of flex pass. That means all sports, everything. And you can also hop in and out of handicappers. If you're with me, and then all of a sudden you see somebody else at the website that has a big play, let's say in soccer, but I don't do soccer, you can hop in with them as well with that flex pass and then come back in with me for my CFL plays. 3 days, $49 for me, save $20. Really good deal. Having a good run the past little while here in MLB and in CFL as well. Taking a look at the last 7 days leaderboard here at Wager Talk out of, I think, 32 handicappers plus 14.9 units, 4th place at the website. So low and slow. We're 7-2. And that one loss that we had over the weekend, as I mentioned, it was a double dip game with the Argos. So we'll try and keep it going. If you guys want to join me at McInnis Picks, DM, or just get that great flex pass deal, $49, 3 days, all picks.
Well, make sure you go follow Andrew at McInnis Picks. Go check him out, of course, at wagertalkwt.buzz/A&M $5 Tuesday. And, of course, 3-day pass jump in. Tomorrow, not sure of the time, Brady Cannon will be back for the Scottish Open PGA. He's in Hawaii. I think they're 6 or 7 hours behind ahead. I don't know. I always mess that up. We'll be on at some point talking the Scottish Open 1 week before the British Open there. And then on Thursday, we'll have Matthew George back talking WNBA and NBA from the Sports Grid. And on Friday, special guest, the Philly Godfather will be back at 11:30 talking Philadelphia Phillies, Eagles, futures, and his new book. So, for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, one and only Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourselves and stay tuned.